In the shadowy world of espionage, few names command as much fear and respect as Mossad. For decades, Israel's National Intelligence Agency has cultivated a reputation for its daring operations and its long, unforgiving reach. This is the story of how that reach extended across the Mediterranean to the heart of Tunisia. To eliminate one of its most formidable enemies, a man known to the world as Abu Jihad. The year is 1988. The First Intifada, a widespread Palestinian uprising against Israeli occupation, is raging in the West Bank and Gaza Strip. For Israel, the violence is chaotic, relentless, and needs a response. At the center of their intelligence gathering, one name keeps surfacing: Khalil al-Wazir, or Abu Jihad, the second in command of the Palestine Liberation Organization, the PLO. He is seen not just as a figurehead, but as the operational mastermind, the remote control commander fueling the fires of the Intifada from his exile in Tunis. For the Israeli leadership, the conclusion is simple and stark. To quell the uprising, Abu Jihad must be eliminated. But this decision was not made in a vacuum. It was the culmination of a long, controversial history of targeted assassinations, a policy as old as the State of Israel itself. This doctrine of targeted prevention, as it was sometimes called, was born from a sense of existential threat, the belief that to survive, Israel had to proactively neutralize those who sought its destruction. The roots of this policy can be traced back to the 1950s, but it was in the 1960s that Mossad's capabilities were truly tested. Operation Damocles was a covert campaign targeting German scientists who were helping Egypt develop a missile program. Mossad agents used intimidation, letter bombs, and kidnappings to dismantle the project. It was a clear message. Anyone helping Israel's enemies would become a target, no matter where they were. But the defining moment came after the 1972 Munich Olympics massacre. The murder of 11 Israeli athletes by the Black September militant group sent shockwaves across Israel and the world. Prime Minister Golda Meir authorized a response of unprecedented scale, Operation Wrath of God. This was a systematic, years-long campaign to hunt down and assassinate every individual involved in planning and executing the Munich attack. Mossad agents fanned out across Europe and the Middle East, using everything from exploding telephones to silenced pistols. The operation was brutal, sometimes messy, and occasionally hit the wrong target, as in the tragic Lillehammer affair in Norway. Yet, it cemented Mossad's image as an agency of vengeance, an entity that would neither forgive nor forget. These operations, Damocles and Wrath of God, set the stage for the 1980s. By the time of the First Intifada, the infrastructure, the experience, and the political will for targeted killings were firmly in place, and the target was now Abu Jihad. The PLO, led by Yasser Arafat, had been exiled from Lebanon in 1982 and had set up its new headquarters in Tunis, Tunisia. They believed the 1,000 miles of Mediterranean Sea offered them a safe haven. They were wrong. The mission to assassinate Abu Jihad was a joint operation, a testament to its complexity and importance. It involved Mossad, the elite Sayeret Matkal Commando Unit, and the Shaytet 13 Naval Commandos. The planning was meticulous, spanning several months. Mossad's first task was to build a complete intelligence picture of their target. Agents were dispatched to Tunis, posing as Lebanese tourists. They rented cars, staked out Abu Jihad's villa in the seaside suburb of Sidi Bou Said, and mapped his every move. They noted the patterns of the local police patrols, the response times of security forces, and the layout of the neighborhood. They even rented a villa nearby to serve as a forward observation post. They learned that Abu Jihad was a creature of habit. A night owl, he worked late, often staying in his office until the early hours of the morning, coordinating PLO activities over the phone and by fax. They knew his wife, Intisar Awazir, and his children lived with him. They also knew that on the night of the planned raid, his top aide would be away. Every detail was crucial. Meanwhile, a parallel intelligence effort was underway from the air and sea. Israeli Air Force jets equipped with advanced surveillance equipment flew high-altitude reconnaissance missions over Tunis, capturing high-resolution images of the target area. Naval intelligence ships patrolled international waters off the Tunisian coast, intercepting communications. They confirmed what the agents on the ground suspected. Abu Jihad was personally directing the Intifada, sending faxes with instructions to operatives in the territories. With the intelligence gathered, the operational plan took shape. It was a classic amphibious assault, executed with surgical precision. On the night of April 15, 1988, 2 missile boats and a submarine slipped out of an Israeli port. Aboard were the commandos of Sayeret Makal and Shaytet 13, the tip of the spear. A Boeing 77 converted into a flying command and control center, circled high above in international airspace. On board were the top brass of the Israeli military, including Deputy Chief of Staff Ehud Barak, who would personally oversee the operation. As they neared the Tunisian coast, the commandos boarded small inflatable Zodiac boats. They landed silently on a deserted beach about a mile from Abu Jihad's villa. Waiting for them were the Mossad agents who had been on the ground for weeks. They had cars ready, disguised as local Tunisian vehicles. The team split up. One group was tasked with creating a perimeter and cutting the phone lines to the villa and the surrounding neighborhood, isolating the target. Another group, the primary assault team, drove directly to the villa. They arrived just after 1 a.m. on April 16th. The first obstacle was the gate and the 3 PLO bodyguards. The lead commando, disguised in a Tunisian police uniform and armed with a silenced pistol, approached the car where one of the guards was sleeping. He shot the guard instantly. The other 2 guards, along with Abu Jihad's gardener, were quickly and silently neutralized. The assault team then used a specialized charge to blow the front door of the villa open. They stormed inside, moving with practiced speed. The team knew the layout of the house perfectly from the intelligence they had gathered. They bypassed the rooms where Abu Jihad's wife and 16-year-old daughter were sleeping. Their target was one man only. Abu Jihad was in his study, awakened by the commotion. He was reaching for his pistol when the commandos burst in. What followed was a brutal, overwhelming display of force. One of the commandos, who had personally known one of the athletes killed in Munich, allegedly emptied his entire magazine into Abu Jihad. In total, he was shot over 70 times. The message was not just to kill, but to make a statement. His wife and daughter, awakened by the gunfire, witnessed the aftermath. The commandos, their mission complete, confirmed the target's identity, grabbed a sheaf of documents from his desk, and withdrew as quickly as they had arrived. The entire operation, from the moment they entered the villa to their exit, took less than 5 minutes. The team regrouped at the beach, boarded their Zodiacs, and returned to the waiting naval vessels. By the time the Tunisian authorities realized what had happened, the Israeli force was already speeding back across the Mediterranean. The assassins had vanished into the night. The fallout was immediate. The PLO and the Arab world erupted in outrage. Yasser Arafat led a massive funeral procession in Damascus, where Abu Jihad was hailed as a martyr. The United States condemned the act as an assassination. the United Nations Security Council passed a resolution condemning the aggression perpetrated against the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Tunisia, although it stopped short of naming Israel. For its part, Israel maintained a policy of deliberate ambiguity. For nearly 25 years, the government officially refused to confirm or deny its involvement. It was an open secret, but the silence was part of the mystique, part of the psychological warfare. It was only in 2012 that Israel officially acknowledged its role. When the military censor allowed the publication of details from an interview with the mission's commander, the assassination of Abu Jihad remains one of the most audacious and controversial operations in Mossad's history. For its planners, it was a resounding success, a complex mission, executed flawlessly, that removed a key enemy leader. They believed it had a direct impact on dampening the intensity of the First Intifada. But for its critics, it was a state-sponsored murder, an extrajudicial killing that only fueled more hatred and deepened the cycle of violence. The story of Abu Jihad's end is more than just a spy thriller. It's a window into a hidden world of secret warfare, a world where the lines between soldier and assassin, and between justice and revenge, are often blurred. It demonstrates the incredible lengths a nation will go to when it believes it's presquicios. It's presquades. It's a window into a leaves it's presquati expressive. It's a world of a word way. Where will it live? Where will it ways at so acclave? We is alive. We is sequade poit. We is pres. We are cyclade in the concide. We're solicit. We are wise at lefts. We are wide at all, or we is so equate is a why. It's a basic you we can it to be dollar as a seek excuse my lids. It I got to sip it's like it's get the fried up let to pick it Survival is at stake in how the ghost of a single night in Tunis continues to haunt the long and troubled history of the Middle East. Thanks for watching. If you found this story fascinating, be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the hidden corners of history. See you next time. Held, removing the operational heart of the uprising would, by time, send a message that nowhere is safe. Now the tension builds. Mid-April 1988. The moon is waning. Weather forecasts checked for calm seas. On April 15th, the naval flotilla slips out of an Israeli port under cover of darkness. Missile boats, rubber dinghies, support vessels. Air cover circles high above, invisible. The commandos' young, hardened faces blackened board the dinghies. Hours at sea, engines muffled, radar evasion protocols strict. They approach the Tunisian coastline near Riyadh, north of the capital, a stretch of beach chosen for isolation. Mossad ground team waits in the rented vehicles, headlights off, nerves steady. The commandos land silently, bury or hide excess gear, change into civilian clothes. Some disguise themselves. One account describes a pair posing as a couple on a late-night stroll. Weapons concealed, Uzis with silencers, handguns, explosives if needed. They climb into the vehicles. The drive to Sidi Bouzid begins winding coastal roads past sleeping villas, the scent of jasmine in the warm spring air. Inside the lead vehicle, the team leader checks his watch. Radars whisper final confirmations. Abu Jihad's villa is confirmed lit in the study upstairs. His wife and daughter are home. Bodyguards in position. Intelligence is live. He is there, working, unaware. The convoy turns onto the quiet residential street. Palm trees line the sidewalks. The white villa appears ahead. its gate visible under streetlights. The commandos check magazines, breathe steady. Mossad spotters confirm no unexpected movement. The vehicles slow, stop a short distance away. Doors open softly. Figures slip out into the shadows, disciplined, silent, weapons ready. They begin the final approach on foot. The residence is just meters away now. The operation is seconds from execution, and there, in the still Tunisia night of April 16, 1988, the shadows close in. What unfolds in the next heartbeat will ripple across the Middle East, spark international fury, and cement a doctrine that continues to shape our world. But that is for part 2. If this chapter of hidden history has you on the edge of your seat, tell me in the comments, do targeted operations prevent greater wars, or do they only breed more? Where are you watching from tonight? Drop your location and your honest take. And please, subscribe right now. Part 2 drops the full climax, the escape, the consequences, and the long shadow cast over decades of intelligence warfare. You won't want to miss it. Until then, stay curious about the truths that governments would rather keep buried. At precisely 1:30 a.m. on the morning of April 16, 1988, the Mossad spotters give the final all clear. The Sayeret Matkal commandos move like ghosts. 2 of them, disguised as a couple out for a late stroll, approach the wrought iron gate of the villa in Sidi Bou Said. A silenced Uzi coughs once. The Tunisian gardener, Habib Dakili, collapses without a sound. The Palestinian guards outside the front door barely have time to react before the team is on them 3 more suppressed bursts, and the entrance is clear. They flow inside. Up the stairs. Abu Jihad, still in his study, drafting another memo to the Intifada leadership. Here's the commotion. He grabs his pistol and steps onto the landing. One shot rings out from his hand harmless into the ceiling before the commandos open fire. Dozens of rounds tear through him at close range. His wife, Intisar, and their daughter watch in horror from the bedroom doorway, shielded by the team's orders not to touch the family. Abu Jihad grumbles, lifeless. The entire assault inside the house lasts less than 90 seconds. The commandos confirm the kill with a quick radio check, then melt back into the night. By 1:44 a.m., they are in the waiting vehicles to Volkswagen minibuses and a Peugeot 305 racing toward Roud Beach. The rented cars are abandoned exactly where planned. Rubber dinghies ferry the team out to the naval flotilla waiting just beyond Tunisian waters. Air cover high above ensures no pursuit. By dawn, the entire strike force is back in Israeli airspace. Mission complete. No Israeli casualties. 0 traces left behind except the bullet-riddled body of the man Israel held responsible for orchestrating the uprising that had already claimed more than 100 Israeli lives. If you're watching this from Tunis, from the very suburb where those shots still echo in local memory, or from Ramallah where the Intifada was born, or even from Ansira where these Middle Eastern shadows reach across continents, tell me in the comments right now. Did that raid stop the violence, or did it only pour gasoline on it? Let's talk about it. And if this hidden history is gripping you, hit subscribe. And the bell part 1 brought us to the door. We're not stopping until the full legacy is laid bare. The world woke up to the news within hours. Tunisian authorities found the abandoned cars and immediately pointed fingers at Israel. The PLO declared a martyr. Yasser Arafat, in exile, vowed revenge. Arab capitals from Baghdad to Damascus erupted in condemnation. The United Nations Security Council debated an emergency resolution labeling the raid state-sponsored terrorism. even allies of Israel expressed private discomfort. Yet in Jerusalem, the government maintained its policy of neither confirming nor denying. For 24 years, the official silence held until 2012, when an Israeli commando finally broke it in a newspaper interview. Describing the night in clinical detail and confirming what every intelligence service in the region already knew. The immediate effect on the Intifada was complex. Coordination from Tunis was disrupted, but the uprising had already taken on a life of its own, decentralized, fueled by grassroots rage. Abu Jihad's death did not end the stones and Molotovs. If anything, it added another layer of martyrdom that sustained the revolt for years. Yet inside Israeli intelligence circles, the operation was studied as a textbook success. Flawless inter-service coordination between Mossad, Shait 13, and Sayeret Makel. Political courage at the highest level, and a demonstration that distance was no longer protection. That success quietly expanded the doctrine. Targeted killing was no longer reserved for immediate ticking bombs. It became a strategic tool used when a target's elimination could reshape the battlefield without full-scale war. The 1990s would test that evolution in the most public and humiliating way possible. September 25, 1997. A sunny afternoon in Amman, Jordan. Khalid Mashal, the rising political chief of Hamas, steps out of his office for a routine meeting. Two Mossad agents posing as Canadian tourists approach on the sidewalk. One carries a device disguised as a camera. In a move practiced hundreds of times in training, he bumps Mashal and sprays a lethal synthetic opioid, a fentanyl derivative, directly behind the target's ear. The poison is designed to mimic a heart attack, leaving no trace. The agents walk away calmly, but the bodyguards notice something wrong. They give chase. Within minutes, the two Mossad operatives are pinned down and arrested by Jordanian security. Mashal collapses hours later, slipping into a coma in a Jordanian hospital. King Hussein of Jordan, still raw from the peace treaty with Israel, signed only 3 years earlier, is incandescent with rage. He phones Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and issues an ultimatum. If Mashal dies, the captured agents will be hanged publicly as spies. The peace treaty itself hangs by a thread. Clinton's White House steps in as mediator. Israeli doctors fly in with the antidote. Mashal is saved, but the price is steep. In exchange for the release of its agents, Israel is forced to free Sheikh Ahmad Yassin, the spiritual founder and symbol of Hamas, along with dozens of other Palestinian prisoners. On October 1, 1997, Yassin returns to Gaza in triumph, waving to cheering crowds. For Netanyahu's government, it is a geopolitical humiliation, broadcast live on every Arab television station. The Mossad station chief in Amman is expelled. The Operation S failure becomes a case study in every intelligence academy. How a perfectly planned hit on the streets of a friendly capital can unravel into diplomatic disaster. Yet even that fiasco did not kill the doctrine. It refined it. Future operations would prioritize better cover, more layers of deniability, and lessons in what not to do in broad daylight. The Mashal affair also revealed something deeper. Targeted killings were now entangled with the politics of prisoner exchanges and regional alliances in ways that no planner in 1988 could have fully foreseen. Fast forward to January 19, 2010. Room 230 of the Al Bustan Rotana Hotel in Dubai. Mahmoud Almabao, Hamas's chief arms procurer, the man who smuggled Iranian rockets into Gaza, checks in after a long flight. He has no bodyguards. He believes Dubai is safe. He is wrong. A Mossad team of more than 24 operatives has been in the emirate for days, arriving in waves on different airlines, carrying passports from Britain, Ireland, France, Germany, and Australia. Some genuine identities stolen and cloned, others carefully forged. CCTV footage later released by Dubai police shows the clinical precision. One team tails Al-Mabah from the airport. Another books rooms on either side of his. A third waits in the lobby, disguised as tourists. When Al-Mabah leaves for a meeting, the assassins enter his room using a reprogrammed electronic key. They wait. He returns that evening. The team strikes. A paralytic muscle relaxant is injected. A pillow smothers him. The entire operation inside the room takes minutes. The killers leave separately, some changing disguises in the elevators, others simply walking out through the front door. To the casual observer, a middle-aged man has suffered a heart attack in his hotel bed. The body is not discovered until the next day. Then the masterstroke of modern forensics undoes the entire plan. Dubai police, led by Lieutenant General Dahi Khalfan Tamim, pieced together hundreds of hours of crystal-clear CCTV. They release it all faces movements. Even the exact times the assassins changed wigs and clothing in public restrooms. International arrest warrants are issued. Britain, Ireland, Australia, and Germany summon Israeli ambassadors. Passports have been forged on sovereign soil. David Miliband, Britain's foreign secretary, expels an Israeli diplomat. The scandal dominates global headlines for weeks. Israel again offers no comment, but the message is unmistakable. Even in the age of ubiquitous surveillance, the long arm can still reach. Each of these operations, Abu Jihad's raid, Mashal's near miss, Al-Mabah's clinical hotel hit, marks a chapter in the evolution of a doctrine that has now spanned more than half a century. From letter bombs in the 1950s to drone strikes and cyber sabotage in the 2020s, Israel's targeted killing program has become the most sustained and technologically sophisticated campaign of its kind in modern history. Other powers have watched and learned. The United States, after 9/11's, adopted many of the same legal and operational frameworks for its own drone program in Pakistan, Yemen, and beyond. Russia, China, and others have followed suit in their own shadows. The moral and strategic dilemmas remain unresolved. Proponents argue the operations have saved countless civilian lives by removing those who plan mass murder from safe havens. Critics point to the sovereignty violations, the risk of civilian casualties, the creation of martyrs that fuel new generations of fighters, and the erosion of international norms. Every success carries the seed of future blowback. Every failure exposes the human and diplomatic cost. Yet the calculus for small nations facing existential threats has not changed since Golda Meir's era. When diplomacy fails and conventional armies cannot reach the enemy, the scalpel replaces the sword. The doctrine has reshaped not only the Middle East, but the rules of global intelligence warfare. Today, no intelligence service on Earth operates without studying these precedents. As we close this two-part journey through the classified archives and the long nights of decision, one truth stands out. Targeted killing is neither glory nor villainy. It is the grim arithmetic of survival in a world where threats do not wear uniforms and borders are no longer barriers. The operations we have examined did not end the conflict. They merely changed its shape, again and again. If this documentary has made you reconsider what you thought you knew about power, intelligence, and the hidden wars that shape our headlines, then our work here is done. Tell me in the comments, does a nation have the right to strike first in the shadows when its citizens' lives are on the line? Where are you watching from? Tel Aviv, Amman, Dubai, Tunis, or somewhere else entirely? Share your honest thoughts. And please, if you value stories that dig beneath the surface, subscribe, like, and turn on notifications. More classified chapters await. All sources: declassified documents, survivor testimonies, official inquiries, and investigative reports are linked in the video description and pinned comment for you to explore further. This documentary is created for educational and informational purposes based on historical records and available sources. The channel does not promote political or ideological positions.